right over my right. God, what is it?
Nearly everyone knows the story of Betty and Barney Hill. New stories and evidence emerges and aspects of the abduction come to light. However, is it possible there is another side to the story? You be the judge.
And I see that this is not a satellite.
On the evening of September 19th, 1961, Betty and Barney Hill are returning from a belated honeymoon, driving into the darkness of the White Mountains and into history. Their claim, abduction by non-human entities. It was the first widely reported classic alien encounter and the blueprint for countless stories to follow.
It was just a light moving through the sky, and I heard no noise.
If we strip away the extraordinary, the Hill story offers a different question, a powerful what if?
And I walk out, and I walk across the road. There it is out there. Oh, God damn it! Calm down.
Could this event be the perfect ruse, not of deceit, but a profound psychological reaction to a turbulent era? A perfect ruse requires two things: a compelling narrative and unprovable evidence. The initial evidence was physical but ambiguous. Some torn clothing, magnetic disturbances on their car, and a very key element, 2 hours of missing time. The full abduction narrative was recorded under hypnosis, a therapeutic tool now believed as unreliable for memory retrieval. It is theorized that it can unintentionally lead to confabulation, the creation of false memories or pseudo-memories. The Hills psychiatrist Dr. Benjamin Simon eventually concludes the abduction was a fantasy, a manifestation of Betty's pre-existing dreams, which she had discussed with Barney.
I believe Betty is trying to make me think this is a flying saucer.
This now creates the framework for our ruse. If their genuine confusion over a 2-hour drive was processed through Betty's UFO-centric dreams and then validated by hypnosis, the resulting story is a narrative so compelling and personally believed by both Betty and Barney that it is psychologically the perfect self-perpetrated ruse. Now we need to ask, were the Hills an educated, highly engaged couple sophisticated enough to concoct a detailed, deliberate hoax? Consider the detail often cited as irrefutable proof, the Zeta Reticuli star map. Betty drew the map under hypnosis in 1964. Crucially, the astronomical connection to Zeta Reticuli was not made by the Hills, but by an amateur astronomer, Marjorie Fish, 5 years later. If the Hills had intentionally planned a sophisticated hoax, the map would have needed to be a calculated detail. The fact that they were not the ones to name the system severely weakens the argument for their conscious intent to include it. However, the timing of their belated honeymoon offers the perfect opportunity. They were an overworked couple on a spontaneous trip, driving late at night in a desolate mountain area. Extreme fatigue, compounded by the anxiety of their social role, creates a psychological vulnerability.
Yes, I thought.
What's his face like? What does it make you think of?
It's round. I think of a redhead Irishman. I don't know why, but I think I know why. Because Irish are usually hostile to Negroes.
The remote location eliminated independent witness testimony, allowing the missing time to become a blank slate for the mind to fill with an extraordinary narrative.
What do they want?
I see a bright moon, and I laugh and say, well, there it goes. And I'm happy.
Now this is where the story shifts from ufology to cultural psychology. Betty and Barney Hill were a prominent interracial couple in 1961, a time of intense racial polarization. Barney was the chairman of the Portsmouth NAACP Political Action Committee and served on the U.S. Civil Rights Commission. Their lives were defined by societal scrutiny, judgment, and the fight against injustice.
Yes, I thought
What's his face like? What does it make you think of?
it's round. I think of a red-haired Irishman and the evil face on the, he looks like a German Nazi.
The key details of the abduction mirrored their social anxieties. The invasive medical examination on the craft, being probed, measured, and stripped of personal autonomy and dignity, can be read as a terrifying allegory for the societal violations they face daily.
No, I'm just suspended. I'm just floating about.
I don't want to be operated on. And I was lying on my stomach.
For Barney, the trauma was especially acute. His description of the aliens symbolized the historic vulnerability and threat faced by black men in a racist society, and the personal cost of his high-stakes activism.
I think of a red-haired Irishman. I don't know why, but I think I know why. Because Irish are usually hostile to Negroes, and the evil face on the, he looks like a German Nazi.
The total loss of control during the missing time is the ultimate symbolic surrender. For two people fighting for the civil rights and autonomy of others, the overwhelming unseen power of the aliens provided a narrative container to express the very real, overwhelming forces of repression and anxiety they could not consciously articulate of defeat.
It's very big. I got to, it can't be true. This isn't fair.
I got to get back up. All right, that's all. Go to sleep, Steve. You gotta get now. You've forgotten.
In the end, whether a spacecraft landed on U.S. Route 3 is secondary to the story's power.
And I see that it was not a satellite.
The perfect ruse in this view was the unconscious mechanism that allowed an interracial couple to project the terrifying, dehumanizing reality of the 1960s onto an external, cosmic, alien threat.
It says, my God, give me that. I gotta get away. His eyes. I've never seen his eyes before.
The Hill story is not just about the cosmos, it's a vital, painful, and symbolic record of what it meant to be human in a time of profound social and political turbulence. Whether the truth lies in memory, trauma, or the stars, what happened to the Hills still echoes in every story that dares to ask, what if?
I see a bright moon, and I laugh and say, well, there it goes. And I'm happy.
Barney, that is not a plane. It's still following us. Oh, it wasn't far. It was about 1,000 feet, I guess.
One person looks friendly. He's friendly looking. No, his lips aren't moving.
They took me and carried me up this ramp. I was laying on the table, and I was lying on my stomach. I don't want to be operated on. Don't want to be operated on. Don't want to be operated on. Don't want to be operated on.
At the top of the mountain, came out over the highway and stopped in midair. And we could see it through the binoculars. A curved windows, red light on each side. We heard a series of beeping sounds. And a few miles beyond this, we heard a second series of beeping sounds. Now later, in our investigation of this, we began to realize that we could not remember what had happened between the two series of beeping sounds. After the first series of beeping sounds, we were speeding down the highway. Barney left the main highway onto a side road, and the car motor stalled. They separated, came up, and took us out of the car, took us into separate rooms, gave us physical examinations. They all had very, very large eyes, very small nose, thin slit for a mouth, no hair, no eyebrows, eyelashes, and no this part of the ear that we could see.